Hello and welcome to my level titled Portal-bility. My name is Parker Hamilton. Thank you so much for watching. So first thing off that we see in this level is that there's some height differences, right? So again, that's kind of just to introduce the core mechanic here, which is jumping, and the other core mechanic available here, which is portals. So we kind of just saw that we're able to go through one, shoot out the other end, and use that to arc our jump. That's going to be pretty important as we move through the level, especially in terms of placing the platforms. We also see here that we're introduced to two different enemy types that shoot projectiles at an angle. That's also very important to moving through the level, especially if we're wanting to understand how we might fight different enemy types and how that might come into play with the final boss. Here we're introduced to an enemy type that can throw arced projectiles, which is also going to become important later on. And here we just saw that these portals don't always move in a completely linear direction. We saw a portal on the other side in the previous screen, but this portal that we're able to go to brought us down here. So that's kind of just to emphasize that these portals might bring us on different paths, and it might allow us to feel how things are so interconnected in the level here. We're able to see a bunch of portals on screen, which ideally would add to the sense of scale made available. Move through these portals here and avoid these hazards. And here we see that there is a locked door, so we don't have the key for that yet, but there is a ladder within our line of sight, so we could always jump over and climb the ladder, or we could be fun and fly through the portal and use gravity to our advantage. Again, we can see these different portals that will lead us in different directions, so we'll follow the one that's available to us, and we'll see that it brings us up here. Now we see this portal over here. Ideally, maybe it would bring us over there. But as we saw in the previous screens, these portals can kind of bring us all over the place, right? So there's a whole variety of where we could go with these portals. The intent behind having them pop up so frequently was not only to introduce more of a subtle mechanic that's used in a lot of Mega Man games, but also just because it's really fun to hop around and have a good time and do your own thing and kind of move through the level at your own pace, especially when you're kind of jumping and feeling like there's gravity involved. So as we just saw here, we used all of our foundational mechanics to get to the key. First, we came through the portal, then we shot at the enemies, then we slid and jumped and slid again. So those are all of the core Mega Man gameplay mechanics that allow us to pick up this key. And once again, we are able to move through a portal, and voila! That portal that we saw on the other side now is bringing us back to the main door, which will let us progress through. So we'll get our checkpoint, we will avoid these hazards, and hip hip hooray, we've got some wonderful health pickups that will help us with the next screen in the final boss. The intent behind using all of these mechanics in tandem in such quick succession is to introduce players to the idea of the discrete combinatorial, in that they are able to kind of build on all of the mechanics that they've learned and put it into practice. Here we are fighting the final boss with a new weapon type that we get upon entering the screen, and we are able to shoot at the enemy. And voila, our level's done, and we have used discrete combinatorial design practices to introduce our players to different kinds of mechanics. Thank you so much for watching. I very much hope that you enjoyed this level. Please feel free to leave any feedback on the website or in a comment in the video. Thank you so much.